All right, everybody, this is a first for this show. We're going to be doing a kind of a video thing where the guest isn't on the screen with me. My guest this time is Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy, thank you so much for being on.
Hey, Ron, thanks for having me. I like that you brought an actor on and then you're just going to show a picture of him and just everyone has a look at you.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, you're a far better looking guy than I am, so people are going to be looking at the picture instead of me.
Stop it.
Oh, flattery will get me everywhere. Anyway, so now the big thing coming up for you right now, we'll get into right away, is Tex Montana. And you have a kind of a cool distribution thing going on here where now this is the question I have. Is the movie going to be coming out to everyone period, or just people who donate to the Kickstarter?
This is everybody in the world, period. Everybody will be able to download it from whatever platform they find the most convenient for them. We're basically trying to get the world to fund, or we're trying to get a few to fund a release for everybody.
Wow, that's kind of a very unique distribution model, and I like it.
Thanks.
I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
well, it's once a movie's out there, it's out there for the world anyway, through torrent sites or what have you. So we figured we're going to try to basically get what we would hope to make over, the slow 3 or 4 year rollout of a traditional distribution deal all at once, and then just give it to everybody. They can do whatever they want. It's going to be released under a Creative Commons license, so you can burn it onto disc and give it to people. You can play it in your coffee shop, or you can re-edit it if you want to.
I don't think I'd want to re-edit one of your movies.
Into a better movie.
No, let's not go that far, sir. I mean, now. At what point did you come up with this idea to do this? Because I know you. Was it a couple of months ago or a year ago or so? The trailer kind of dropped out of nowhere for Tex Montana.
We came up with this idea. Gosh, we shot it 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And
well, I'm way off on my dates.
Well, no, no one really knows when we did it, but yeah, you probably saw the teaser drop about a year ago.
Yeah.
The idea started with just I had an idea in my head for to kind of do one of these survival TV show host guys like Man vs. Wild or Survivor Man, and I. Obviously, having done The Battery, I couldn't get a horror bent out of my head. So I was thinking of maybe, he goes out there to film the show and he's slowly hunted by something. And I couldn't really get my my co-director, Christian, on board with that idea. He didn't really buy into it. He doesn't like found footage. And that was really bumming him out. And then suddenly it hit me one day that it should be a completely broad, weird comedy. And then he was like, yes, I'll do that. And under the auspices of it being an actual TV show, then Christian is able to make it look pretty because, he's a cinematographer. He's a photographer by trade. So that was the way I could get him to do a found footage movie. Say, well, it's a TV show, so there is an excuse for it to actually look pretty decent. And then once we hit on the comedy angle, it was like, well, then let's just tap into this kind of Eastbound and Down Will Ferrell, like really like egomaniacal idiot, and then just kind of watch him slowly realize he's not exactly what he thought he was, and kind of fall apart out there. So even though it's a broad, ridiculous comedy, it does get a little dark once he realizes that he's in over his head.
Once that he realizes he brought too many musical instruments and not enough food.
Exactly, yeah. Well, that was another play on, I don't know if you watched Survivor Man, but Les Stroud always goes out there by himself, which I think is a cool show because he actually does not have a crew, so that's what we're aping. But he always has a harmonica. So we thought it'd be really funny if Tex has a harmonica and then slowly throughout the movie he just has more instruments. Oh, he just brought so many instruments, didn't really plan ahead.
Like there's a Marshall half stack and a PRS guitar. Where'd that come from?
I wish we had 5 times as many instruments as we have, and we already have too many.
It's like Motorhead's going to be playing here. What's going on?
We should have just done broad, like he's pulling like a clown car, like he pulls out an entire like piano out of his like backpack.
Now, when you were that would have been great.
I wish we went that far.
Now, when you guys were filming, it was just you and Christian then, right?
No, well, it was me, Christian, Adam, who played Mickey in The Battery,
Okay.
producer. He was on set the whole time. Also, Elise Stella Christian's wife and my fiance Kelly McQuaid were out there too. So most of us were out there the whole time. It was only 5 days. It was miserably cold, 9 degrees for at least 3 of the days, and Tex is wearing cowboy boots because he's an idiot and he's ill prepared for the winter. But even though that's funny on screen, I actually just had to wear cowboy boots in the snow, which I ended up getting frostbite on my toe. It was pretty bad.
Oh, hope they're okay now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It sloughed off. It turned black and sloughed off. It was no problem.
Oh, now I just kind of walk a little funny. Now where did you guys film this?
We shot it literally the exact same town we shot The Battery in. It's
Oh,
amazing how different it looks when there's snow everywhere.
this is very true. Yeah, now, forgive my memory. Where did you shoot the battery?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I expected you to remember that. Kent, Connecticut, upstate, Northwest Connecticut.
And when you watch the battery, you don't think Connecticut.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks Connecticut for anything ever.
No, not really. No.
It's not really a state that like pops into your head. I bet if you tested people and had them write down all 50 states from memory, Connecticut probably would be left off a certain amount.
I don't know where I'm from. Well, no, because people know that making a murderer crap.
Oh
So,
yeah, you're super popular now.
ugh, yeah, and I love it when people watch that and they think they know what's going on. I lived through it, so I think I have a little bit of a better idea of what was going on. But
Oh, you're the one who could crack the case?
no, not at all. But I mean, there were so many things that they'd mentioned in the news they didn't mention in the documentary.
Yeah, I know.
That kind of thing. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
He's suddenly gonna turn into Joe Pesci, but that's neither here nor there. So now, you said it took about 5 days to shoot. You in the Kickstarter video, you mentioned that you're not the only one that got sick.
No, I had pretty bad cold like elements hurting my extremities, but Christian developed some horrible coughing disease. I don't know what it was, but every night in the morning when we get up to shoot, there would be like blood on his pillows. He was coughing so hard.
Oh,
He ended up having to actually buy the hotel new pillows because he felt so terrible. He just threw them away. He didn't want them to have to deal with them. There was at least one day where I just passed out in the car and for like 5 hours. So Christian was out shooting B-roll. So actually, technically, Christian, who's not even on screen, was in the elements longer than I was because one day I just passed out. I was exhausted. I couldn't do it anymore. It was long 14-hour days in the cold, and every single word of this movie is improvised. So I'm just acting like an idiot. And as soon as you call cut, you can just watch me. If you saw the raw footage, just watch me just break down and like just shrivel up and curl up inside my psyche. It was really rough.
Now you said it's all improvised. Did you go in there with at least like a floor plan as to what you wanted to do, or did you just kind of like, this looks cool, let's shoot this?
You would think we had a floor plan. Basically, our outline for the film was Tex is, he's full of piss and vinegar. He's pompous and he's confident. And then at some point he realizes he's in over his head and gets lost. And then at some point he loses his mind. Those were basically the three acts that we were going for: confidence, scared, and then insane. And that's really all we had to go by. We had certain gags like, oh, we should try and like do a fire gag or do something like that. But it was really just find an interesting spot in the woods, turn the camera on, make Jeremy do stupid stuff. And then I was developing a through line in my head as to like where I wanted him to go and when I wanted him to kind of learn certain things about himself or reveal certain things about himself. But other than that, there was really no plan at all for this movie. And that's because it was, this was almost a reactionary film because it took us so long to try. Oh, excuse me, bump the mic. Super awesome.
Ow, my head. No.
It took us so long to get another movie going after The Battery. I had a script and got to go on the little water bottle tour, and everybody's like, "We love your voice. It's so unique and original, and this script is great. Now, can you take all the originality and uniqueness out of it for us, please, and cast somebody who's 18 years too young for the role?" And it just became really demoralizing. So while that was on the back burner, we decided we'll just go out in the woods and shoot something just to be making a movie again. So that's what this was. It was just a reaction to the way everything goes so slow once you actually get into the traditional Hollywood model And I don't want to, and we're not even really talking Hollywood. We're talking very, very low budgets here, but
Mhm.
it's at this point, at this day and age, a $250,000 to $350,000 budget. They're asking for the concessions that they would have asked for on a $5 to $10 million budget 10 years ago. So it was a little frustrating.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's no. They're not going to no. Sorry, not going to happen. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to dub you King of the Indies because anybody who went through what you went through on Tex Montana deserves it. So you
I'll
can get
take
that
it.
you can get that T-shirt made and you can sell it and just put my name in really tiny print underneath Indies, just really tiny.
Sure, just
Okay.
like the
Yeah.
amount of comments I've gotten. There was a comment one time someone said, "Hey, if you want to see a movie where this guy named Jeremy Gardner really loves himself, you should watch The Battery." And I
Oh.
re- and I replied, "Wait till you see Tex Montana. I just cut the second guy out." So if I walked around with a shirt saying the King of Indies, I don't think I could. I think I would lose whatever goodwill I have left.
Oh man, that's oh boy. Now you have me wondering, since this is only 5 days to shoot, all improv. What's the runtime on this?
It's about 83 minutes. It's a feature.
Right.
It's snakes up there into the. We didn't want to go over an hour and a half because how long can you watch one idiot? But that's the thing about it too is I think it was 6 days, but 6 days with just nonstop jokes. I mean, we have 8 hours of footage, and there's no filler. There's no scenes really that don't get cut. There's just alternate versions of everything. So we had enough footage to make. As a matter of fact, our first cut was about an hour and 39 minutes, and obviously that was too long. But it's definitely feature length. It's just we had to decide how long before people are getting tired of watching this guy. And I figured if people can watch Bear Grylls for an hour, they can watch me for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, because you'll be entertaining. At least
Yeah.
I could carry. I try watching that stuff like Man versus Wild or whatever, and I just can't do it. I just can't. But if
Yeah,
if you're
well,
pulling musical instruments out your ass, that's just I mean, come on, you can't exactly go wrong.
yeah,
But
that's true. Well, yeah, I mean, well, man, Bear Grylls, I was interested when it first came out, but I got to the point where, at least with Les Stroud, this is like a weird aside here, but Les Stroud, Survivor Man, at least he goes out there by himself. So, there's a kind of a grittiness to the way his show is made. Bear Grylls is clearly he's got a crew and he's just trying to show you how to survive.
mhm.
And so when he finds it necessary to kill every animal he comes across, I mean, he's just like, I'm like, I know you don't need to eat that snake. You don't need to chop its head off. You could just say, here's how you would chop a snake's head off. But it just got a little old watching him kill everything he found.
Yeah, that's. I was waiting for him to find other people and be like, "Hey, let's hunt the most dangerous animal."
Oh, I think I stopped. Yeah, exactly. I think I stopped watching him one episode where he wanted to show you how you could kill a wild pig. And so it wasn't like he came across a wild pig. He came upon a place in the woods where they had tied up a pig so that he could jump on it and cut its throat and show you how to do it. So it literally was, let's get a pig in here and just keep it tied up so that Bear Grylls can kill it on camera. It was wildly inappropriate, I thought.
That you'd think that the guy from Top Gear was hosting this thing, because that's just wrong on every level. Oh my god!
Oh,
And there's
but
no
I
and there's
digress
no
about
and there's no
45
sport in
hours.
that and having it tied up. There's no sport.
Yeah, well, I don't think he was trying to show you sport. I think he was trying to show you how to jump on it and hold it down and kill it. If you happened across one,
If I'm lost in the woods, I'm gonna curl up in a ball and cry. I'm not gonna hunt down a wild pig. That's just,
I'm gonna throw rocks at birds.
yeah. Here, Polly, 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 Polly. But now with the battery, you released it online. You pay $5, if I remember correctly. I was very, very happy to give you my money.
Thank you, sir.
Hey,
We were
no.
happy to take it.
That I'm good. Now, this whole thing is coming out free for everybody, but you said yourself there's like 8 hours worth of footage. Is there going to be at some point a physical release that has all the bonus features?
Well, absolutely. Well, there is. So right now, one of the tiers on the Kickstarter campaign is a DVD Blu-ray combo set, and it's gonna be chock full of extras, alternate line readings, commentaries, deleted scenes. So that will happen if we get funded. I don't necessarily know whether we will spend the money to press all those things if we don't actually hit our goal, because we won't have the money to set that up. We might eventually end up, somewhere down the line, selling them ourselves if the whole thing doesn't come through. But as of now, yes, it's definitely in the works if the campaign is successful, for sure. And there's so much stuff we've talked about, the potential for a completely alternate cut. If there was a lot of goodwill and support in the Kickstarter campaign, maybe doing an entirely alternate cut with completely different jokes, because there's literally enough jokes to do an entirely separate edit of the movie with totally different stuff, which would be really fun to do. But there's no way in hell we're going to do that if we don't.
That would be a little expensive.
It would just be time consuming.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, I know the reason I asked is because with the battery, you guys were selling it online, but then I can go to Barnes and Noble and I can get a copy through. Was it Scream Factory?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they had all the cool goodies on it, and I was just wondering if down the line, if that was something that you guys were going to end up doing. I mean, did you have any problems with the battery release on Blu-ray and DVD, or?
Oh no, the Blu-ray release was incredible. I mean, that was probably the best, most rewarding part of that release was getting Scream Factory to come on, because they're like the Criterion of horror. They really will let you stuff those discs full of as much goodies as you get. So we were really excited to put that feature length making of documentary on there and all the outtakes and stuff like that. So yeah, we definitely love content, and we certainly have a lot, especially since we've been running this campaign. We've been going out literally every day and shooting 6 or 7 brand new Tex Montana survival tip videos and putting those online for campaign backers and for everybody to see for fun. So, I mean, we've shot now, I think 13 or 14 funny little videos just in the last 2 days, and we're probably going to go out and shoot, a dozen or so more. So we'll have all those on the video, a couple commentaries. We're going to do one commentary as Tex Montana, which will be ridiculous.
Man. Oh, man.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and we really hope we can get it out there, because we got it's going to be a beautiful little digipack cardboard gatefold thing we got cooking up in our minds.
Nice. Now, with what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, damn. Me and my brain.
That's all right. I'll take over hosting. So, Ron, what were you going to say just now?
I forgot. I told.
Sorry, was it something about the battery release? I'm so long-winded. Was it something
No,
about the
no.
battery release
I'm trying
to.
No, Oh, now I remember. Would you say that you subscribe to the theory that anybody can make a movie at this point? Or does it still take a bit of talent?
Well, I think the tools are available for anybody to make a movie. I still think it's...
Yeah, I didn't say a good movie. I just said a movie.
Right. I absolutely think that the opportunity to make a film is out there for everybody at this point. I mean, a friend of mine shot a feature on an iPhone 4 2 years ago. And it's pretty good, So you could really find the tools to do it. But there's a guitar like at my friend's house, and I could pick it up. It doesn't mean I could play it.
Right.
So yeah, it's there's got to be talent and everything. I mean, everybody. That's like saying everybody can write. Well, if you got a pen and a piece of paper, you can write. But whether you can do it any good or not is an entirely different story. So I still think there has to be a little bit of talent there. But I don't have any talent. I just fake it, so it's fine.
Now, sir.
I'm not fishing.
There's no. There's no need to be humble on my program, because I'm a vain son of a bitch.
Well, I am the king of the indies.
That's right, king of the indies. That's right. That's that. Believe it or not, that's also a very weird wrestling term. But we're not going to get into wrestling at all.
Well, you can't, but you'll just hear silence.
Exactly. We'll just like, what's he talking? Why is he talking about wrestling?
Well, that's all right. You talk wrestling and I'll talk baseball, and then neither of us will know what the hell we're talking about.
Hey, now I'm in Wisconsin. We got the Brewers. They're not any good, but we got the Brewers.
I didn't mean that you did care about baseball. I meant your audience might not care about baseball.
They don't care about baseball or wrestling.
Nobody gives a shit.
No, they really don't. But now, when you sit down to write something, because I know you said you didn't write. Tex Montana was all improv. You sat down to write the battery. And I know I watched an interview where you said that you kind of wrote it to go around what you were able to use, which is a very Robert Rodriguez type way of making a movie.
Absolutely.
Did you originally want to do a zombie film, or did you just kind of fall upon that genre?
With the battery, it was I was doing an audition video years and years ago, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, for this online horror movie that they were casting through like a social media website. And I decided to make my audition video like a little short film where two guys were stuck in a zombie apocalypse. And I don't know why I picked zombies. I have no idea. It really was, this was before the Walking Dead show. This was, I don't know. I have no idea why I hit on that. Anyway, so when I did that audition video, that concept got stuck in my head. This little 2-minute video I made, and I just couldn't get the idea of two guys kind of wandering the backwoods and I wanted to explore like how the individual human psyche would kind of wither or change in that situation rather than going big and broad and thinking about how society as a whole would change or watching cities fall apart and crumble. I thought it would be more interesting to kind of focus on how one person reacts to it, kind of like, whew, man, I was just about to have to go get a job at Office Max and now I'm free. And then the other guy
Yeah.
just really, really missing everything that he had and just kind of dig into those a little bit. So it wasn't ever about the zombies for me. I always say like I think the best, genre movies, if you take out whatever the thing is or swap it with something else, zombies or a plague or a shark, whatever it is, if you take that out and it still works, then those are my favorite ones. And so I don't really I think the zombies are fairly, you know, they're beside the point with the battery, and that's what I was hoping to do.
Well, yeah, and you could really take the zombies out and put anything in, and it would have worked. And that's something that Romero always said is like, his movies work on a zombie level because you could take out the zombies and you could put in a tidal wave that hits the city, or you could hit anything, and
Exactly,
it
yeah.
works. And that's so you apparently, according to George Romero logic, you're as good as he is.
Well, I wish I could get that man to watch the battery. I always felt like he might appreciate it, but of course, I mean,
Oh, I'm sure
what I'm
I'm sure
saying,
he'd love it.
what I'm saying here is obviously nothing new and standing on the shoulders of giants here with Romero. But the original Night of the Living Dead is my favorite zombie movie ever, and that's the people in that house, and that's why, and that's what we wanted to kind of get back to with it. I felt like the zombie things. I'd always loved zombies as like as a villain, but the amount of zombie movies I actually loved is an incredibly small list. Like, so I wanted to just make one that I would like,
Right,
and
right.
that's why people talk about baseball and brush their teeth for a minute and a half because apparently that's the stuff I like.
Hey, that's it made it feel real when you're watching it, and that's the important thing, and that's the best thing about a zombie film. And like my list of zombie films that I enjoy are really short as well. Romero gets a pass even with Survival of the Dead, but it kind of, if you focus on the people instead of the outbreak, which a lot of these films tend to do. They tend to focus on the outbreak more than the actual people.
Right.
Because I could give a shit what happens to Mina Suvari in the Day of the Dead remake. Sorry, I really don't care. Go back to American Pie. Maybe I'll give a shit, but that's just the way I am. I cared what happened to the guys and the gal in the helicopter in Dawn of the Dead. I care what happens to Ben and everybody in the house in the original Night of the Living Dead, and I cared what happened to you guys in the battery. It broke my heart when he got bitten.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to
good.
spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Come on, people, go buy it.
Well, all you said was he got bitten, so they
Yeah.
don't know who got bit.
Yeah.
No, well, thank you. I mean, thank you very much. I mean, that's what I always, I love horror. Horror is my favorite genre. It's the thing I want to, I'll stick my flag in. But I was watching a romance the other day. Someone's like, "We watching that?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, because the characters. I like films. I like stories. If the characters are good, I don't care what genre it is. Just give me good people, interesting stories to tell. And I could care less what genre. A genre is pointless to me. I don't care. A good story is a good story.
Exactly. That's my exact point. Now, I heard somewhere that you have a monster movie planned. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, well, that's the script I was talking about going around trying to get made.
Look at that callback.
See, yeah, and we got a little bit of traction on it right now. With some people I'm very, very excited about. But these things take so much time, and so I'm trying not to hold my breath too much because you get really disappointed when these things fall apart. But yeah, I have a monster movie. It's definitely if you've seen The Battery, it's definitely a Jeremy Gardner monster movie. It's more about marriage and fear of commitment, but it's definitely got a monster in it for sure. And it's just another character study. Monster comes out of the woods every night and kind of attacks this guy while his fiance has disappeared on him, and everyone thinks he's losing his mind because it only comes around at night and only attacks when he's alone, and just kind of slowly wonder whether he's going insane or not. But something like that. That's about all I can really say about it right now. But I love it. I'm really excited and proud of it. And
You piqued my interest.
good. I've gotten a lot of really, really great feedback on the script from some filmmakers I really, really admire. So I'm pretty excited to get it going.
Well, there you
But
go.
the thing about a monster movie is, if the monster's stupid, the movie's stupid. So I'm really trying to focus on making sure we get a really great monster if we're going to go forward with this one.
Now, is this one that you couldn't do on your own?
I wrote it. It's bigger. We could definitely do it on our own if I re-tinkered it. And that's honestly what we've been talking about lately. Is that somewhere in that script there is a version that we can shoot ourselves. And it's just if it takes some very much longer, that may be the route we decide to take, which is strip it down to its elements, figure out what about it is the most interesting, and let's just go do it ourselves, because I'm getting too old to take 3-4 years to make a movie at a time.
I hear you. Every time I look in the mirror, another day on my face. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all.
It happens. It happens to.
Stupid life. Now you have that coming up, and then the Tex Montana and The Battery's a fantastic film. Anything else you have on the horizon, or are you just kind of focusing on the monster movie?
Well, no, I mean we've got a couple irons in the fire in case the monster movie doesn't go. I have actually been writing a sequel to The Battery.
Oh, there was some unfinished business at the end.
There was. And I'll tell you what, this would be the least asked for sequel in the history of cinema. But, I was talking to Christian about the other day. I never really had any interest in going back and revisiting it because it seems a little pompous to make a sequel to a $6,000 zombie movie that only a small fraction of the world really cared about. And by the way, the people who do care about it are amazing. And the life of that movie still humbles and bewilders me every day when someone new emails us to talk about it. But I got an idea for it and I couldn't shake it. And all I will say is that it will probably piss off the people who want the sequel the most.
Oh boy, I think I know where you're going with this, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to. Because then I'll just keep bugging you about it. So we'll just be like, okay, all right, okay.
Well, you can talk to me off.
We'll talk. Yeah.
About what you think the idea is. But no, and it's speaking of making a sequel to a movie that no one's asking for, I told Christian that I just want to make, if I don't get to make any movies anymore, why don't I just make my Romero trilogy? So at least I'll have had that. And there's still more in my head I'd like to explore about the way these certain minds get warped or changed in that environment. So I'm hoping it'll work out. I got some people interested in doing it. I just got to finish the script, but pretty excited so far. And then we have another one, a comedy, horror, crazy splatterfest movie called A Blob that we've been tinkering with, maybe deciding to shoot. Not The Blob, A Blob.
Is it about a really fat guy? Because I'll audition.
No, it's basically taking the Blob story and inverting it, and it's just this like tiny nondescript, like one small blob that someone finds it lands in their property. And I just thought it would be really fun to kind of, instead of the blob getting bigger and bigger, it's just this tiny little basketball sized thing that kind of makes everybody go nuts around. But I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Battery sequel with a helicopter and a mall in it. I can't wait for a basketball-sized blob. You got all sorts of great stuff coming. And the best part about the Tex Montana Kickstarter, folks, and you can look at the screen right here. There's a link. You can go there and you can contribute vast amounts of money. Is that the perks date is March 2016. I have a friend who has contributed to tons of like board game Kickstarters, and they say, "Oh, it's coming." You know, he was supposed to have one in October of last year. He just got it last week.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we never wanted to use Kickstarter because we don't want to owe people something that we have a nebulous idea of when they're going to get it. So the fact that, and I'd like to reiterate that Tex Montana is finished. It is done. We are trying to release it here. So everything you're going to get the movie about a week after the Kickstarter ends. That's just legal stuff, about 1 week. And then if you go up to the tier to get the DVD, that'll be about a month, but that's it. I contributed to 2 Kickstarters a year ago, and I have yet to get my perks. And I didn't even want the perks, but they were, not that I didn't want them, but they weren't the reason I contributed. But it is still funny to me that these 2 successful campaigns a year on have been unable to ship a T-shirt, to my house.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So what we wanted to do with this was say, like, we don't want to become a fulfillment center. We don't want to become a store because then we're missing the point. We just hope people will think that having a movie instantly has the value and is worth more than us spending a month and a couple $1,000 printing shirts and posters and packing them and shipping them. We have a DVD and then beyond that some props and stuff, but that's really all we wanted to do, and we hope people will jump on board with that, just to kickstart and release the movie worldwide.
Well,
TexMontana.com.
There you go, folks. And the link is right here by my finger. That's what bothers me the most about Kickstarter is you see these inflated amounts that they want, and you're looking at it like, why would you need that much money to do this? And then, like, for instance, you look at the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Kickstarter. It got $6 million, and they want to use it to make a season of the show. You look at it and you're like, I know for almost a damn fact that that show did not cost $6 million a season.
Yeah.
And it ends up being that they have to pay for all the Kickstarter stuff. And so that kind of, it's like you're basically getting into the Kickstarter business when you do something in that vein. You have like this whole new thing going on, and I applaud you for it. And I hope more people do that. And I'm curious, what did you shoot the film on?
We shot it on the C100.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Little behind the scenes tech bullshit for you.
Let's talk wrestling, baseball, and cameras.
Yes, and then I love the way it picks up the audio on a defibrillator. I'm just coming up with words.
I'm using a blue Yeti microphone right now to talk to you. By the way,
so am I. So am I. It's fantastic. It's just a wonderful little. I keep hitting my mouth on it, but that's just my not knowing, having depth perception apparently. But so head over to TexMontana.com and you can contribute at Kickstarter. The links are all going to be down in the description area, and they can follow you on Twitter at The Battery Movie.
Yes, they can.
Fancy. See, I know all these things. I did a little bit of research.
Yeah. Did you see the Bean video yet?
The Bean video? I haven't seen the Bean video yet. I've been dealing with getting my car fixed, so I'm kind of behind a week.
Lame.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your car's messed up. That's
hey,
terrible.
and what? Here's the thing: is it's a Volkswagen, so everything is twice as much as it should be to get fixed.
Well, at least you have a car. I'm a filmmaker. I don't.
Oh well, we'll talk about that off the air, sir. But I'll have to watch this Bean video. Is it on the Kickstarter page or?
Yeah, it should be on the Kickstarter page. It's also on the Tex Montana's YouTube page. I basically just dumped a can of beans on my head, kind of ripping off doing a little parody of the Ice Bucket Challenge a couple years ago, and I challenged Joe Begos, the writer-director of Almost Human and The Mind's Eye, to dump beans on his head in support of indie film, all indie film, and he just accepted my challenge and put up the most epic slow-mo metal giant can of baked beans being poured all over his head video ever. So you could go find those on our Twitter site, Twitter page, or YouTube or Kickstarter. Those are fun.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, Jeremy, I thank you so much for being on. It's been a blast. We'll have to have you back.
Ron, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share it with all your friends, and head over to patreon.com/Ron Purtee to help support more videos coming out.